there is a notion that people should get married today. And that getting married, yes, without a doubt, but getting married early today, when people are very young. And the driving talk behind that, or the reason behind it, is like this: people will be able to overcome their Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, and marriage young, or getting married young, will solve all the problems. Could not be more wrong than that. And I'm going to tell you why. If you getting married to solve your problems, you're not solving your problems, because marriage was not the issue you need to deal with. It's like, for example, let's say you have you have a skin tag, or forget it, you have a mole, right, that you need to remove. And the skin doctor says, you got to remove the mole. So instead of removing the mole, you're going to put a Band-Aid. Doesn't really do that. So in order to really try to solve the problem, we need to address the issue, why and how to deal with the Yetzer Hara to begin with. What is the Yetzer Hara? I think that conveniently we gave a title, Yetzer Hara, to something that we don't really know what it is. And we kind of give it its own freedom and its own life. And people start to believe today that the Yetzer Hara is something that it's supernatural, superpower that has control over you, and that could be so off in terms of Judaism that it's borderline maybe idol worshiping. What does it mean? So, but there is a concept of Yetzer Hara that Chazal tells us. But what's the source of that? The source of that, Rabotai, and by advising people to get married when they're 18 or 19 years old, is basically sending them to a failure. And the reason is very simple. Yetzer Hara is no other than a manifestation of life without a meaning. If you have no meaning in your life, or meaning in that subject that you are dealing with or operating, you don't understand why. There's no meaning, means absolutely nothing to you. Then you're going to have an internal struggle that will tell you why in the world you're doing that. It's pointless. It's restraining you. It's killing you. So that inside voice of you tells you, okay, so let's break away with it. Let's do something else. If you had meaning and a sense of purpose in everything that you do, yes, you will have those voices in your head that will tell you, what are you doing this for? But the answer will be, because I want to do it. But when there's no answer, the voices resonate and echo in your head all the time, to the point that you're going to do the opposite, and then we call it Yetzer Hara. However, we don't want to take responsibility to it, so we give it names, and we give it a whole entire life, and we're going to give it a whole entire span of what we're doing. And you think about it very carefully. Each one of us has a different type of Yetzer Hara, because each and every one of us deals with issues of meaning and purpose in different subjects. So people think that if they marry young, that will be it. They'll get their whatever, they get their steam off the system, and everything is going to be good, and now they're going to be angels and a cult of Yafet. And this could be no more far from the truth than that. Let's say today, sexuality is a big thing. Right? It's a big thing. It's all over. Everybody talks about it, and the whole entire thing. And as a matter of fact, they're making a bigger deal than what it really is, which is not really a big deal. And I'm going to tell you this. So if you get married to quiet down those voices inside of you, but there's no meaning in the marriage itself, so how long are you going to get before you're going to, Chaz v'Shalom, cheat on your wife or cheat on your husband? Because there's no meaning in it. and therefore to anything else. How many times before you find yourself staring at the cedar and not even saying a word, and you just automatically go back and you say, "Oseh shalom b'moav," and you said, "One second, did I daven at all?" Because davening for you has no meaning, has no purpose for you. It's something that you do, but that's not davening. So instead of telling people, get married when you're 18 years old. Yes, what they did in the Gemara at the time of the Gemara was different. Because at the time of the Gemara, when you were, 10 years old, you went to work. You had to assume responsibility, and the purpose for your life was to stay alive. Today, everything is served to you on a silver platter, and us as parents and educators don't bother to implant meaning and purpose in our children. That's why they fail. You don't want to give, because even raising children today is done for no meaning or no purpose. And we did read it. If you bring kids to the world to take care of you, you're a fool. That's the problem. We are, in a way, by not introducing true meaning, and I cannot put my meaning into you, because it's different, we're different people. But I, as an educator, my job is to encourage you to find meaning in what is that you do, whatever bring meaning to your life. I cannot tell you, standing on your head or doing yoga for 3 hours a day, that will bring meaning to your life. Maybe it will bring to me, but it will not necessarily bring to you. But the ability to look and to search for meaning, that's what should be the driving force of your life. Then you really deal with the problem. You want to come or the Yetzer Hara? Well, come what it is. You don't want to learn. You say, "Oh, Rabbi, I really want to learn, but what? I have Yetzer Hara." At that point, you stop taking responsibility for your life, and you gave it to some kind of like a foreign force that is out there. You call it Yetzer Hara. You're done deal. You continue, and you would continue doing wrongly what you're doing. Do we teach our children for responsibility? No. Do we teach our children to search for their meaning? No. Why? Because we don't want to deal with kids. And if you're raising your kids good and you're investing in your kids just so everybody will say that you have good kids, you're a fool also. Better than many other people, but you're a fool. And that's why we allow the internet, the TV, the computers, the telephone to educate our kids instead of us. Because we are not interested in them. It might seem harsh and a lot of people will get bent out of shape. But you know what? I don't really care to get bent out of shape, but that's the truth. If your kids were really important to you, so instead of going on a cruise to whatever people go on a cruise to Bahamas, you will take an RV and put your kids in an RV and go spend a whole entire summer with them or 3 weeks with them and just pay attention to them all the time. So don't tell me that getting married young is the solution for all your problems. I'm going to tell you it's just the beginning of many more problems coming down the road. Have a great day.